And so I would like to encourage you for this whole year to remember that and to go ahead and like listen to each other's stories, because you will find friends that you didn't even know you could have been friends. I love this theme for this year. The new MOPS theme is We Are Starry-Eyed. And listen to this. It is choosing to see the light in the darkness and choosing to live courageously in both. It is opening our eyes to wonder and choosing hope over fear. Man, what a time that our world needs to hear the hope and put aside the fear. Starry-eyed is insignificant act, or is significant acts of kindness that sends ripples of light into the world. That's why I think this lesson is so important, because as moms, we can change one life at a time that will impact our world. And those lives are everyone that we come into contact with, and especially our kids. Because our kids are going to carry on what you are teaching them. You're laying the foundation of what is going to be changing the world when you get my age, okay? I always believe in having worksheets, because when I was a mom and preschooler, I couldn't even remember where I had parked my car after I had listened to this inspirational message, and I wanted to go and share it with my husband and share it with my neighbors, and like I said, I couldn't even remember where to park my car. So because of that, and because I'm an ex-teacher, you all will have a worksheet, so you can get your pens out and you can take notes. Oh, and I want to tell you something. I take these notes, I do a bunch of these, and then I leave them at coffee shops, or I'll leave them where I know that moms are at. And then I always leave the website for people to be able to draw up information about MOPS. In fact, yesterday I went to the jeweler, and her daughter was there, and I bought this cute little necklace there, okay? But she's a mom of preschoolers. And so I got to talking to her about MOPS, and I gave her all this information. And she lives in the Lake Stevens area, so I got her connected to a group in there. But you see, this is how we change one life at a time, because wherever you come into contact with somebody, you can gently speak about MOPS and help to encourage them. The definition of kindness is the ability of being friendly, generous, and considerate. Friendly, generous, and considerate. Three traits that are losing, or three traits that are not being shown in our world right now, are they? In fact, the Urban Dictionary definition of kindness is the act of going out of your way to be nice to someone, to show them you care, to show them you care. And then they go on to say something that is apparently does not exist in our world anymore. Isn't that sad? It is so sad, you guys. But the good news and the hope is we can change it, because I believe moms are the most powerful, influential people in the world. In fact, there's a quote that says, "The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world." So we have been given this great opportunity to change what's happening in our world. So how do we do that? How do we teach our kids to be kind and to value kindness? Number one, realize how much kids can learn at a very young age. You see, 98%, listen to this, 98% of the kid's basic personality is formed before age 3. So you're laying the foundation right now. You're building this foundation to be able to add onto it later. But that's how influential you are. And aren't they able, or aren't they like little sponges? I mean, my 4-year-old grandson lives with us, and I cannot believe how he imitates us in his language and in his, actions and stuff. Like I always am saying, well, and so I got him going, well. Or I was telling his mom, I said, Abby, you have to be really careful with what you say, because this little one is going to pick up on it. Because instead of saying anger or I'm angry, she would say I'm pissed off. And one day, out of the blue, Jaden I'm pissed off at you. And she looks at me and she goes, so I went, oh man. I think the key is finding simple ways to make our kids a part of what we're doing. For instance, if you want to make cookies, help them or have them help you roll the balls out. But then take it further. Take 6 of those cookies or 6 of them, or 6 or a dozen, and go down and give them to the policeman or to the fireman or to the mailman. Have them be a part of what you're doing and extending it into the world in some kind, unexpected way. 2, teach the value of words from the heart. You know, gifts are nice. Everyone loves gifts. You know, and the kids, there are some steps here that we need to teach them. For instance, Jaden just had his birthday. Now he's 4 and he's finally got this down, right? But before that, man, he'd rip open one gift and then rip open one gift and rip, you know, and so Abby has been teaching him to look at the person in the eyes and say, thank you for this gift. I really love it. And he did that after every single gift. And then, and this is vital, have them write a thank you card. Now, you can give them a card and have them scribble, and then go ahead and say, Jaden, what did you think about this? And then write down what he says. But it's important that they extend the kindness, the appreciation back for the gift that they got. Because this world does not revolve around them. And so many times our kids are being taught that this world is all about them. But they need to give back to the world. They are a part of it, but the world does not evolve around them. Okay, number 3 is instill 2 important words. Be kind. Be kind. I have this plaque that says, speak kind words, hear kind echoes. And I have that plaque up in our family room. And there are many times, you know, that we'll be sitting in there and I'll say, hey guys, even to this day, and my youngest is 26, my oldest is 34, but I'll say, you know, they'll be like using sarcasm or whatever, and I'll say, hey guys, and then they'll get the hint, okay? But we need to speak kind words. And I used to, when they were younger, I would like pray for them before they left for school or before they went to preschool or whatever. And the last 2 words that I always said to them was, be kind to someone. Be kind to them. They have to hear it. We have to ingrain it in them so it's a natural response as they get older. You know, and with the craziness of the holidays that are just around the corner, there's going to be lots of opportunities for us to teach kindness to our kids, because we get busy, you know, in the next coming months. And, you know, we need to remember we need to be kind and not let the pressures and the anxieties of the holidays ruin it for us. Okay, number 3, catch and spread kindness. This is a great idea, you guys. Make them part of being kindness. So what I would suggest is, the idea is that we want to catch people being kind. So you have this jar, and you know, we all have that spare change in our purse or in our cars, and or, you know, like I've got this little, we don't smoke, and so it's where you keep the stuff there that you smoke, I guess. But anyway, there's this little thing. And so we always put change in there. And so what we've got is this little jar, and whenever we catch someone being kind, we grab some money out of it and we put it in that jar. And then we keep doing that, and the goal is to fill that jar. And then around Thanksgiving, you talk to each other, saying, okay, who are we going to give this money to show them that we will be kind? You know, it could be buying food and warm beds for the local pet shelter, or it could be purchasing coats for needy kids. But, you know, wherever, you know, look around and see the opportunities that are there, because our world needs it desperately. The idea is to catch kindness and give the jar away to someone as a constant reminder about spreading kindness and doing something good, something kind for others with the money that you're collecting. Make it a family thing. Okay, another thing is to be a role model. More is caught than taught. More is caught when taught. Let that sink in. Man, that just drives me crazy as a granny, because as my kids have grown up, I have not been as aware of my behaviors. And like I said, Jaden is like this sponge. He's like imitating everything. How you treat yourself, how you treat your child, how you treat your family and friends and strangers will be the greatest lesson of kindness that your kids will ever learn. For instance, you know, making a gesture when the driver cuts you off in traffic, or you're not getting the best service at a restaurant, and so you speak rudely, or you get impatient and you're not kind. You know, it was interesting. On Facebook yesterday, I saw this neat thing where this couple went into this restaurant and they had a horrible amount of service. The service was awful. But they started to look around and noticed that they were short-staffed. And that one waiter was actually in charge of 12 tables plus the bar. So what they did was, their bill was like $33 or whatever, but they tipped him $100. They were encouraging him, they were kind to him, and then they wrote, because we were once servers, we understand. I thought, like Pam said, everybody's got a story. And the people that are waiting on us have stories. So we need to change our thoughts about that and try to be kind, because our kids are watching. When you make critical comments about yourself out loud, that teaches them either body shaming, or it teaches them that they're not good enough. And they love us. And I mean, we're perfect, practically perfect in their eyes, guys. So let's be kind about ourselves. You know what the number one thing is the most dangerous is when you start gossiping about others. When you start criticizing, when you start gossiping, because that teaches them to have critical eyes about others instead of kind eyes. Okay, lead by example. Lead by example. We all need to lead by example. If my children hear me saying one thing and then doing another, what are they learning? Because they're going to follow my example rather than my command. I am going to read you, it's called 10 Ways to be Discourteous to a Child. And what I want you to do is, on the side of your page, if you've ever done one of these, put a little X. And then we'll see how many, if we really are being discourteous with our children, or if we're being kind. So when watching your favorite television program, do not allow the child to make the least bit of noise. But when he is watching his favorite program, laugh and talk and carry on a noisy conversation. And then when they complain, you just say, oh, just sit closer. Okay? That's number 1. 2, when she offers her opinion on a family problem, dismiss her suggestion with an appropriate remark such as, okay, you don't know about it, go play. Okay? Should he attempt to discuss his day at school or play, tell him you're tired. Okay, I'll do it later, but right now, Mommy is just too tired to hear this. If someone reports that she has been a naughty girl, punish her before you get her version of what had happened. Man, I've been guilty of that. Do not trust her, suspect the worst of her, and expect her to get into trouble. We all have those strong-willed kids, and the ones that are always pushing our buttons, and so we kind of like start expecting this. And we'll say things like, well, once again, or something like this. Our comments are so powerful. Do not bother to compliment him or her on any achievement. After all, they're only a child, and you don't want them to be spoiled. If she is downhearted, there is no need to encourage her with kind words as you're an adult. You just say, oh, go play, go watch TV, go whatever. Be happy. Oh man, I think that's some of the most dangerous words there are. Instead of listening to their heart, you just say, oh, be happy and get on with it. When you meet a heavy child, say, right, you are a chubby one, aren't you? Or if he is skinny, say, wow, you are thin. If the wind came along, it would blow you over. No. If a child is playing within listening distance, go ahead and talk about him, because there's no need to wait and discuss him, because as, him behind his back, like you would treat an adult, there's no need. He's not listening. Guys, I'm telling you, they are like, have their listening ears open, and they hear everything you're saying about him. So, anybody struggle with any of those? Like me? Lead by example. Okay, help kids see how much manners matter. Guys, manners. Kindness can be taught through manners, and it's so easy. You have them say, please, and thank you. So when Jaden wants something, he'll say, can I have some chocolate milk? And we'll say, what's the magic word? Please, may I have some chocolate milk? And then afterwards he has to say thank you. Just simple little manners are so important. We are not raising kids to be, what would be the term? To be self-centered and to think that the world is here to serve them. We are raising kids to serve the world. And please and thank you are two of the most important kindness things we could teach them. And the next two is I'm sorry. When they've done something wrong, they need to go and say, I'm sorry for blah, blah, blah. Because that's taking ownership. That's taking responsibility for their actions. Those are important words. Remember the golden rule. You guys know what the golden rule is? What is it? Right, right. This is key when instilling kindness in your children. You see, when you treat your children with kindness, they will, most of the time, treat you with kindness back. And even when they are in the midst of a meltdown or a lash out, continuing to treat them with kindness will teach them how to respond to others when they are being unkind to them. Now there's a balance here. You can still do the necessary discipline that's needed when they are going through a meltdown. You can still, help them to grow in their character, but do it kindly. And so you have to watch the tone of your voice. You have to watch your physical appearance. Sometimes I'm telling you, I'm sure I, got a witch hat on, and I was just like, I'm sure my fingers grew wickedly, because I would just lose it. And that's not teaching them the things that I wanted to teach them, is it? So we need to teach them we need to be careful with how to respond to them when they are needing it. Say no to name calling and watch the sarcasm. Wow, we all know that line that says, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me. That is a lie, a blatant lie. Words will do more damage than sticks and stones, because words penetrate our hearts, and they penetrate our minds, and they stay there for a long time. So watch the sarcasm. It doesn't feel good to be called a child a name, so why is it okay for us to call them, names? We don't want them name calling, so why do we think it's okay? We can call them names. There are some questions on the back of your sheet. There are some questions that you can ask your child to help them learn how to be kind with one another. And it's questions to ask. Put them in there, have the child be in the person's situation that they're talking about, etc. But those are real practical things for you to do. And the last thing, before we have our video, is to find teaching moments. To find teaching moments. In order to teach our kids what to do, we should be able to point out what not to do. So when you see someone being unkind, don't be afraid to talk about it. Not in their presence, but later on you could say, do you remember when Johnny did this? How did that make you feel? And what do you think they should have done otherwise? And then ask them what would be some more positive steps to being kind. How can you be kind to them when they're having a hard time? Because like I said, 98% of that personality is being formed right when they're younger. And they can learn. They have the ability. our world is full of news about how unkind people can be to one another. And by teaching hope that one person can make a difference, you will encourage your child to continue kindness. I have a 30-day challenge for you. 30-day challenge. You may want to write this down because my Facebook peeps, I will be especially checking with you to see how you're doing. Did you guys get this magazine? Hello there. Okay, I got this out of there. It's called the 30-day challenge. So what we're going to do is we pick a person, one person, with whom we want to develop a better relationship with. So for 30 days, number one, don't say anything negative about that person, either to them or to someone else. For 30 days, don't say anything negative. Number two, find one thing every day you can praise about that person, and then tell somebody else what they have done. See how that works? Tell somebody else. And then number three is to act generously. So for 30 days, instead of being negative, find things to praise. One small act of kindness for that person. I have a very tough relationship with one of my daughter-in-laws. Very tough. And we struggled for years about this relationship. And I determined it was up to me to make the change, not them. And many times we think, well, if they will do this, I'm going to do this. But it's up to us people to make the change in relationships. And so what I did was exactly this. For 30 days, I sent her uplifting texts. I sent her notes of appreciation with how she's grandparenting my two adorable kids. I mean, I really worked on it for 30 days. And I'm telling you, between this and finding out what her love language is, we have a fantastic relationship. I mean, we are like this now. We have the relationship I always wanted, but it was up to me. And this 30-day challenge works, okay, it works. So the last thing I want to close with is I've given you some other quick ways on your worksheet on how to go ahead and start the ball rolling with positive ways to changing our world. But I also wanted to show you this video. And tell you, there's this website, it's called invest.com. Invest, I-N-V-E-S-T.com. And every day they will give you an email with one simple little idea, one simple little concept in which you can use it to incorporate your kids, kindness into your kids. So this is about a 7-year-old girl named Abby. And she worked on it a long time before this came out, so we're going to watch it.
She's helping me spend energy so they can run faster to get robbers. These are cinnamon rolls. Everybody likes cinnamon rolls. We're bringing these muffins, orange juice, cinnamon rolls, bacon, and sausage. I think it takes to be a police officer bravery, courageousness, kindness. Police officers need kindness so that they can teach other people how to be kind. This is really heavy.
Every year around Abby's birthday, she does a Pay It Forward project. And this year, when she was thinking about what she wanted to do, she went to her mom, and what did you say you wanted to do?
I wanted to do something for the police because you guys do so much for us, and I wanted to do something for you guys.
This is a very small way for us to say thank you for doing this, and this is our Lakewood Police Department
help animals and people in need. This week my class has been working on cards for the police. Today, a police officer came in and he talked about his job and how to teach other people how to be kind and how to spread kindness.
How are you all doing today?
Good.
I'm TJ Jacobson, and I'm a police officer with the Lakewood Police Department. I'm here today because Abby did a Pass It Forward project.
Thank you for protecting everybody. Thank you for getting rid of robbers. Once I got in a car crash and police helped me. Thank you for keeping the city safe and catching the bad guys. And also I love donuts. Thank you for protecting our city and protecting the stores. You have our family and you have our city. Dear police officers, thank you for the things you did for us. Thank you so much for protecting our community. Thank you for your respect and honesty. Thanks for keeping us safe and arresting bad guys. Love, Sonia.
How some of them articulated times that they've had interaction with officers, to have that appreciation from so many, and to hear it put in their words was really special.
When I do my Pay It Forward projects, I feel like I'm sharing part of me with the world. I will be doing these projects for probably a really long time, I hope.
Yes, change the world with kindness. Isn't that great, you guys? And what's really great is they have been working on this to build her to this point when she was 7. But it's like little bits and pieces. And I can't wait to see what happens when she's 10 or 11 or 16 and gets pulled over for speeding. Let me pray for you. Father, thank you so much for this time. Thank you for these wonderful moms. Thank you for the gifts of life that you've given them. And I just ask that you will help them to continue pouring their love into these kids and help them develop and be more aware of how important kindness is so that we can change our world, change all of this horrible stuff that's going in the world right now, that we will be the difference. Thanks, God. Amen. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Okay, so we have one more thing this morning. Last week we had a bunch of introductions, and I have a couple more. There is a lot of people that go into this 30 weeks of moms thing. I wanted to quickly recognize Krista Stewart that does our finance for us, and you didn't have anything money-wise to
pass out.
okay.
I'll be handing out $20 bills.
And then Charlotte is heading up the welcome desk, and I know there are several people that have committed to helping with that weekly. Jessica Schaefer, Amy Walton, Michelle Anderson.